Kentucky's Voice is your home for real news, real people, and real answers. But we can't do it without you. Your financial support helps us bring truth to the forefront, hold leaders accountable, and give a voice to the people of the Commonwealth. Join the fight today. Give online at kyvoice.org or text KYVoice to 5355. Every gift makes a difference. Stand with us. Speak up. Stay strong. You are Kentucky's voice.
Are you ready to stand for truth? Kentucky is at a crossroads, and we need voices that won't back down. This is your moment to rise, speak up, and be part of a movement that's changing the narrative in the Commonwealth. Kentucky's Voice is calling on bold citizen journalists, fearless editors, and those unafraid to speak truth in the public square. Volunteer, intern, contribute. Scan the QR code or visit kyvoice.org to join the fight. This is more than media. This is your moment. You are Kentucky's voice.
Open borders, shameful abandonment, disregard for human life, the prospect of more mandates and lockdowns, and the list goes on. Now more than ever, we need to stick together. Voting alone is not enough. We must use our dollars to support like-minded companies that fight for our rights and beliefs. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. Last year, we gave more than $500,000 to conservative causes. With your support, we'll give more than $1.5 million this year. It's time to band together and support companies that truly love America and fight for our freedoms. Will you join us?
Kentucky's Voice is your home for real news, real people, and real answers. But we can't do it without you. Your financial support helps us bring truth to the forefront, hold leaders accountable, and give a voice to the people of the Commonwealth. Join the fight today. Give online at kyvoice.org or text KYVoice to 53555. Every gift makes a difference. Stand with us. Speak up. Stay strong. You are Kentucky's voice.
Are you ready to stand for truth? Kentucky is at a crossroads, and we need voices that won't back down. This is your moment to rise, speak up, and be part of a movement that's changing the narrative in the Commonwealth. Kentucky's Voice is calling on bold citizen journalists, fearless editors, and those unafraid to speak truth in the public square. Volunteer, intern, contribute. Scan the QR code or visit kyvoice.org to join the fight. This is more than media. This is your moment. You are Kentucky's voice.
Open borders, shameful abandonment, disregard for human life, the prospect of more mandates and lockdowns, and the list goes on. Now more than ever, we need to stick together. Voting alone is not enough. We must use our dollars to support like-minded companies that fight for our rights and beliefs. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. Last year, we gave more than $500,000 to conservative causes. With your support, we'll give more than $1.5 million this year. It's time to band together and support companies that truly love America and fight for our freedoms. Will you join us?
This is Kentucky's Voice Radio, covering the latest state and local issues with Tom Fallbush, Bob Scott, and Jim Waters.
And good morning, Kentucky, and welcome to Kentucky's Voice, the show that is conservative, very conservative, and we're proud of it. We are the conservative voice for the Commonwealth, and I'm your host today, Bob Scott. It is Tuesday, October the 28th. And we have a full, fast-paced hour ahead of us, folks. So buckle up and stay tuned. Joining me today is Kentucky State Representative Bill Wesley from the 91st District, a man who has served his community faithfully and is now stepping up to run for state senate in District 30 that is currently held by Senator Brandon Smith. We'll talk about what's motivating his run, the serious concerns surrounding Chinese influence in America, foreign land purchases in Kentucky, and his efforts to protect Kentucky's families and values. Let's get started. I have a clip from a recent story by 60 Minutes in which retired general and former head of the NSA, Tim Hogg, talks about the real threat that China poses to our critical infrastructure.
I think initially we were surprised that China would target every American with these capabilities. That goes against every norm of international law. That certainly goes against how the United States military would approach targeting in a crisis or a conflict. That the fact that they would go after basic services as part of their effort that they have identified as unrestricted warfare is unconscionable.
And what did they target?
They targeted water, they targeted electrical power infrastructure, transportation are examples of the types of things that were targeted. And in many cases, they're vulnerable.
Multiple intrusions at utilities were discovered in 2023, and China had been on some of their computer networks at least 5 years. You're saying that the Chinese today are in American power plants, water treatment plants, other parts of the electrical grid, maybe even hospitals, telecommunications, all of that?
So there is a daily contest that is going on to be able to deny China those accesses, but they are certainly attempting every single day to be able to target telecommunications, to be able to target critical infrastructure, both in the United States and in other countries, and they are doing that to try to ensure that they have an advantage in a crisis or a conflict.
Is China preparing for war?
There was no other reason to target those systems. There was no advantage to be gained economically. There was no foreign intelligence collection value. The only value would be for use in a crisis or a conflict.
And ladies and gentlemen, that clip paints a very clear picture. China is not a faraway concern. It is a growing threat to America's economy, our technology, and national security. They're going after you. If you haven't figured that out, they're going after every single American. And let me tell you something. We need to be waking up as a nation to this. I think we are. And I was very pleased. And I got to applaud 60 Minutes. I don't applaud them very often, but I do have to applaud them for doing that segment. It was a very honest, eye-opening, revealing segment. Today we have Representative Bill Wesley, who has been on my show many times in the past, and I'll just say it, Bill. You're one of the true voices in Frankfort. We're blessed to have a leader like you that's serving not only your district, which you absolutely love and care about, but the state of Kentucky. Welcome to Kentucky's Voice.
Thank you for having me, Bob. And it's an honor being here today And I appreciate just the time of sharing some things with you and the people out there, the listeners. Um, yeah, we're facing a conflict here in the United States, and people doesn't even realize what's going on.
And
But
Bill, you know what? We absolutely are. We'll talk a little bit about that on the other side of this break.
yes,
We
sir.
are coming up to a break. I know you have some strong words about what's happening, and more importantly, you and some other legislators are going to be trying to do something about that in the next session. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Kentucky State Representative Bill Wesley. See you on the other end of the break.
Now, back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
We decided as a nation to go green with just wind and solar, and who produces 85+% of wind and solar systems is China. So what has China done is they've baked in vulnerabilities into those systems, right? So go back and see the headlines, the news headlines just in the last couple of months about the Chinese inverters and Chinese solar panels that have kill switches in them. That's the way that they build this infrastructure. And we know this because during the first Trump administration, okay, in the summer of 2019, a Chinese manufactured transformer was seized in the port of Houston, brought to Sandia National Laboratory where it was inspected, and ultimately what was found was a hardware backdoor that would allow someone remotely to turn it off. And at the time there was about 300 of these transformers in the grid. And to President Trump's credit, he passed an executive order May 1st, 2020 called Securing the Bulk Power System that was supposed to address this. And during the first day of the Biden administration, that executive order was suspended, and we pulled the data in May. We got 582 Chinese transformers in the United States grid.
And that clip was courtesy of the Flyover Conservative podcast show that honestly it details how during the first Trump administration, he did in fact sign an executive order, stopping or trying to stop Chinese attempts to sabotage our grid. It was, of course, rescinded, as he mentioned, by the Biden administration. That's a head scratcher. Why would they do that? Why would they rescind something that they knew, absolutely knew, was going to potentially have devastating effects, on our infrastructure in this country? I don't know, folks. I mean, to me, that's nothing short of treason. As to the harm that particular administration did to our country. And it's on so many different levels. But anyway, I'm so pleased and glad and blessed to have my good friend, State Representative Bill Wesley, on the program today. Bill is an outspoken critic of everything far left. And the thing I love about him, we need more Bill Wesleys in Frankfurt. I can tell you, he's not afraid to stand up and speak truth where it needs to be spoken. And he's also has a background as a pastor. He's done many things, in his role. And again, Bill, welcome back to Kentucky's Voice. Again, it's always an honor to have you on, sir.
It's an honor being here, Brother Bob. Honor knowing you, working with you over the years. And I love pastoring, as you mentioned that. If I can just add real quick, Lord showed me a dream that I had one of the clear podiums in front of me. I don't know if you guys seen that, maybe in some churches. Um, and for years, for a long time, I wanted maybe one of them podiums in our church. But what the Lord spoke to me one day, no, I want you to be very clear from this pulpit what I give you.
Yeah.
And I believe in being transparent right now in this hour, being truthful with people.
Yes.
As legislators and senators, not just state level, but federal, all walks of life, I think that the government has lost, we've just lost a lot of, how can I say this today?
Their way.
Well, the people of America, they don't trust the leaders anymore.
Hmm.
And I want to be a man of integrity and character. I want people to trust me because, trust is not bought. You can't buy it. You can't demand it or command it. You earn it.
Yes.
And I want to earn that with the people. And most of all, I believe I've, showed myself in some kind of ways over the period of years I've been up here. I'm in my third term. It's been an honor to serve the 91st district, and we're going forward to take District 30.
Yeah, that's a big deal, Bill, because you're not running against someone that's, in fact, he's a 32-year incumbent Republican. That's or 30 years, somewhere around there. That's been there for 3 decades. And don't even get me going on term limits, because I think that is something that's one of the problems we have, especially at the federal level. But there is reasons, why you've decided. And I'm not going to tell the story for you. I've heard enough from other people why you decided to make this move. I know first and foremost you prayed about it, and you felt like this was a direction the Lord was going to take you in. And but go ahead and share with our listeners, our viewers, what motivated you to challenge Senator Smith for the state Senate seat that he's occupied for so long.
Yes, sir. It started out as, he called me to his office one day, and this was, when we came into our new district area after the redistricting. It took place a few years back. Anyways, long story short, he told me that he was thinking about retiring, stepping away. He would be honored if I take his seat. And I was honored, to take up the torch, especially for Eastern Kentucky. Now, some of the people that he has the largest district now on the Senate side. I used to have the largest on the state, on the House of Representatives side. So
and that's 9 counties, is that right?
Yes, sir. He has 9, and so I've already represented half of his district already. So they know me, and so it's a game changer for me. I want to get back in that area again and just love on the people. That's all they really want, is someone to just be there for them, to hear them, and to show them, because, and I'm not saying this in a degrading way when I say this. You ask a lot of people if they know who their senator or representative is, and unfortunately, some people's going to say no. But I want the people to know me and our kids, because the kids is losing interest. I went to elementary school one day, and I seen all these things what people wants to become when they get an adult. Politics was like not even 1%, and they didn't even know anything about government. And that's sad to say that. So could you see what's going to happen in 10 years? We got China on one end and different foreign entities coming in this nation.
Yes.
In 10, 20 years, what is our country going to be like? So I'm going to be very outspoken. I'm not here to have a fan page, out there. I'm here to fight the good fight of faith. I'm here to fight for our country, our Constitution. I'm here to fight against the enemies that are already here among us. And so as the Lord opened this door for me to run, it started out as just simply filling in his spot as he was going to retire. He decided he wasn't going to. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to pull my hat back out of the ring after I've tossed it out there. And I'm just going to go ahead and just do the best I can and fight that good fight. But here's the thing: is I really feel compelled to run for this seat. A few weeks ago, we all know that there was a front page of the Lexington Herald publicized on some things.
I was going to ask you about that because there is a lawsuit that Senator Smith is involved with, involving a Chinese-linked company that he was in business with, apparently.
Yes, sir. And so I'm not withdrawing myself out. No way.
Yeah.
Too much is at stake here, and I'm not pointing fingers, because I know how the media is and how things gets twisted out there. But the way I understand, there's supposed to be a court hearing. I don't know, but I'm going to keep running. And I will say this: I have been in 8 festivals this year of just meeting people, the everyday people, man, that I love to serve. And as I'm out there, I've never seen one candidate wanting to run for District 30 for anything. I've never seen any candidate but me and my people, my team. And so, I believe getting out there and mingling with them and letting people know your heart, but also hearing their needs and concerns. So it was no deliberate attack, how maybe some portrays that I was going to headhunt on him. It had nothing to do with that. But I felt in my heart that if I'm going to really run for this, if he's retiring, go ahead and throw my hat out in the ring. Let the people start speaking for me. But I don't mean to keep on this very long, but I don't want to wait to the last minute. I don't think it would have been fair to leadership on the House or Senate side. I don't think it would have been fair to my people who I already serve. So I thought it would be good to go ahead and get the jump out there right now.
Yeah, and I commend you for that, Bill, because you could have waited, like so many politicians do. They literally wait to the last minute, the 11:59 hour, if you will, to jump into it as an act of surprise, and I know one race recently that happened that's the very thing that did happen, and fortunately in that situation that candidate did not prevail. Up next, we're going to talk with Bill about the proposed bill that he's in the process of working on, 1084, which seeks to ban Sharia law in Kentucky. Why he says this is about protecting constitutional values and equal justice. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stand for truth? Kentucky is at a crossroads, and we need voices that won't back down. This is your moment to rise, speak up, and be part of a movement that's changing the narrative in the Commonwealth. Kentucky's Voice is calling on bold citizen journalists, fearless editors, and those unafraid to speak truth in the public square. Volunteer, intern, contribute. Scan the QR code or visit kyvoice.org to join the fight. This is more than media. This is your moment. You are Kentucky's voice.
back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
Okay, let me talk to you about something else that you're tracking. And this is something that you were working with Charlie Kirk on. And Charlie was very, very concerned about this and was starting to move in this direction right before he died. And that is the concern that I have as well, that the Islamification of the West is happening. This is not, where are all these refugees coming from? And how come they're all seemingly coming from Islamic countries? And they are taking over Europe, and it's happening here in America as well. And it is not a group of people that want to integrate. They want Sharia law. And they openly talk about it, and they openly talk about how stupid we are for just opening up the gates and say, come on in, everybody, the water's fine. What is it that you're doing? I think it's something called SCAN, right? This is Charlie's idea of SCAN.
It was Charlie's idea, Saving Civilization Action Network, which is a group of people that would come together and curate actual facts happening around the world, not just in the United States, but the threats to Western civilization. And we would heat map those to where people could see where the threat was. They could drill down even onto a local zip code and see what activities were happening there. And then they could also report up that would be examined by the experts. Is this valid? For example, a lot of people were sending me the imam in Houston who was going store to store, pointing out, well, you're selling pork here, and in 6 months we're going to come back. You got to get it out of here. So down to the zip code level, a heat map of the threat, but not just Islam, the threat of communist China. That would be the red axis, Islamism, which would be the green axis, and globalism, which would be the blue axis. And Charlie wanted us to concentrate on all three because all three work together. And you can see all three working together in the New York mayor's race. Mamdani is all three, a socialist, an Islamist, I believe, and a globalist.
No, Kevin, I learned a long time ago, those groups would never work together.
You're the one who taught us they work together, Glenn. And Charlie picked up on it, and he said, I want to monitor all of these. He asked me to head up this group, and, I was in constant contact with him in the last 6 months. We were exchanging messages continuously on this with his so-called brain trust of people that were looking at these threats and how do we protect America.
And of course, that was Glenn Beck and his guest talking about the threat that Islam is to the West. We know Europe is just even further down that road in deep dog do. It's the only way I can describe it. I mean, they are in a world of hurt right now, and there is concern. And Charlie Kirk was concerned about that. Charlie Kirk was just such a gift from God and a visionary. We all know that he was a man of God, and really truthfully, despite the left's attempt to twist him in a certain direction and being a certain way, he loved people, pure and simple. And he loved God, he loved people, and he loved our country, and our way of doing things. And again, was already in the process of thinking ahead to try to address the Islamification that's being attempted, and it is being attempted in this country. And I know, and again, my guest today is State Representative Bill Wesley, and there is a bill, that sounded weird saying that twice, that you're working on, BR 1084. It's something that you're intending to file in the next session of our legislature, which is coming up in January. And it has stirred a little bit of debate, but not too much. But it's a bill that would literally ban Sharia law in Kentucky courts. What prompted you, Bill, to introduce this? I think we all know the answer to it, but what will this bill actually do?
So this bill is to protect our state from the Sharia law coming in. When I was over in Israel, I heard the call to prayer by the Muslims, and then I heard a segment about Dearborn, Michigan, Now, there's only 100,000 people in that city. 60,000 are Muslims. And to hear the mayor talk to our American citizens like we are a bunch of dogs, like he made a statement that he was going to have a parade one day when they leave Dearborn, because their objective is to take over. And as a Marine, you can start to see the signs of how the enemy is trying to work behind the scenes, trying to gain ground. And it seems like people, some of them unfortunately are blinded to what's going on right now. I started hearing about how China can actually hack our water systems and poison us.
And that's exactly what the 60 Minutes report verified. I mean, and it's real. It's not something that's being made up, and that they are doing.
So these people that's coming in, I don't know how people is blinded to it, but they are not our friends. They are not our friends. I'm not going to sell our state out. I'm not going to sell our country out. I am here to not only serve the kingdom of God, but I'm here to serve our commander in chief, and I'm here to serve our great country. And I would say if people don't like our country and the way things are going, they can freely to leave, but I don't want to stir up a mess for you, Bob, but I have my feelings on that matter, how I really want to say it, but I want to respect your show. These people are blinded to the truth of what's going on. They are not our friends. And when they're waving the enemy's flags on our courthouse steps and on the Capitol steps and in Washington, I am thinking, my Lord, can you guys open your eyes and see what's going on? It's like if the LGBTQ is supporting Islam, do they not know in the Quran that it actually says that they are going to kill them kind of people? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're going to kill them. And so Islam.
Well, we're and again, not all Muslims, but among the radicalized people of that religion, we're infidels,
Yeah. And the whole Quran says that. So it's against our Bible. It's against what this nation was founded upon. It's against all of our Constitution. Listen, Muhammad married a 9 or 10-year-old girl. The Sharia law supports, now listen to this, they support pedophiles. Here in this country, we imprison these guys. You see what I'm saying? And so thievery, or if they're caught in adultery, they'll cut their hands off or they'll stone them. And people actually is going to support this. Well, if they go not just through Dearborn, Michigan, it is infiltrating in our nation, throughout our nation. And so I'm going to fight that, trying to come in here. We have mosques coming up in this state. And so their next step is to enforce the Sharia law coming in them cities. Now, people says, well, it can't happen here. Well, really? Well, people said homosexuals never be getting married here, but now they get full benefits and they're adopting children. I mean, we're turning in Sodom and Gomorrah here. Not only that, but any kind of human rights standards, or especially the human rights, the Islamic Sharia law will come against them things. They will cut their hands off for thievery. I mean, the list goes on to what they do. And it goes against anything that we have in our Constitution and in our laws right now.
Well, and whoever thought, after 9/11 especially, that we would be on the verge in America's largest city, the capital of our financial markets, New York City, is about ready to elect a Marxist mayor. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I can't still wrap my head around it, but it is happening. Folks, stay tuned. We have more great discussion with Bill coming up, where China is, in fact, trying to purchase farmland right here in Kentucky. We'll be right here. Stay tuned. See you on the other side of this break.
back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
We are populists in the state of Missouri. We believe in the people's rights, and what we don't believe is China coming in, buying up our farmland. You know, one of the reasons that young farmers, my state, farming is our number one industry, ag, number one industry. We got a lot of young farmers who can't buy land. Why can't they buy land? Because Chinese corporations and other shell companies are coming in, buying up all of the land, putting solar panels on it, using it to stage their various attempts at espionage. This is ridiculous. We ought to ban it. No ownership of farmland by Chinese corporations. Steve, I don't want them owning real estate either of any kind. Why should they be buying up family homes and driving up the cost of those? So, you know, Missouri, I mean, people get it. I mean, we live it every day. We got a lot of farmland that's really expensive. Young people can't buy it. Family farms are going out of business, and yet these mega farms owned by China are proliferating everywhere. We've got to put a stop to that.
What do we need to do? We need to get on that too. Does Warren Posse need to contact their senators about this aspect of it?
Yeah, absolutely. We need a law that out and out bans Chinese ownership of farmland in the United States. I think we ought to, again, make it even broader. I think it ought to be all real estate, single-family homes. Why should Chinese corporations be able to buy up our land, buy up our homes? And it's time that the Senate acted on this. I mean, we need to codify this into law, and then we need the Justice Department to go out there and enforce it strictly, enforce it with the full, everything they've got, you know, put everything behind it. That's what we need right now, because this is a huge threat. And it's not just a huge threat for farmers. It's a huge threat for every single American. The national security interests here are just off the charts. And it's a basic sovereignty issue. You know, are we going to be a sovereign nation? If you can't own your own land, you're not a sovereign nation. If your own people can't buy land in their own country, you are not a sovereign nation. That's what we're up against right now.
You're saying everything Brooks Rollins did the other day, that magnificent press conference and the executive orders, they had Pete Hegseth, everybody. You want to take everything they're doing in the executive order and codify this now into a law so it can't be changed the next time another president comes in?
You got it. That's it, 100%. That's what we need to do. Make it permanent, make it statutory, write it right into the United States Code so that it can't ever be undone except for another act of Congress, and then you can see every person who's voting to undo it. We need to make this permanent protection for the American people.
And that was a clip from Real America's Voice as Steve Bannon was interviewing Senator Josh Hawley. And folks, you are listening to Kentucky's Voice. I'm Bob Scott, your host today, back with my special guest, Representative Bill Wesley. There's obviously growing concern about foreign nations, Bill, especially China, buying up farmland and property across the United States, including here in the Commonwealth. And it is refreshing, I got to say it, that people now are talking about it. They're recognizing it. They're understanding it. And that's really what I wanted to focus on today on our show, is to bring attention and a spotlight to it, because, you know, even our show director said in a break, gosh, I didn't know that was going on, you know, and there's a lot of things happening right now in the world that we all have to, you know, the Bible talks about to be wise as serpents, yet gentle as doves. We have to start opening our eyes to, you know, and realize that there's real attempts being made to take over our country and take away our freedom of life. You know, the freedom of life that Charlie Kirk gave himself up for. He was martyred. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Charlie Kirk was martyred for his Christian conservative views, you know, and we as a people, again, need to stand up. You know, Representative Wesley, how serious is the threat of foreign land ownership in Kentucky right now?
What was the last part, Brother Bob? I couldn't hear the last.
Yeah, I just was asking how serious is the threat of foreign land ownership in Kentucky right now?
So I feel in my heart that this whole nation is in threat of losing things. There was two bills last year in the House that began. One was for farmland. I had a bill that was, as the senator said, Josh Hawley, I'm against anything being purchased by, say, China or any foreign entity that was on the federal list that was given by the Trump administration considered as terrorists. They shouldn't have the right to buy any merchandise or any building or any business here in the state of Kentucky or in this nation, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm a legislator for the state of Kentucky for District 91. I will speak on the behalf of all of Kentucky, if need be. I'm going to be very transparent. I'm not up here to play games. I'm not up here to make friends on the other side. I'm not there, and not going to be there. So when China is coming here, they're not our friends. When they was talking AI up there, what can this benefit? I said, listen, there's 3 triggers that comes to me that it's no good. I don't need to have 50 things wrong with this thing. And they said, well, what's the 3 things? I said, North Korea, Russia, and China. You're going to open up security. That's what you're going to do. And so we can slowly see this happening. So some of the things that I see, Bob, that they're not just purchasing land. When I was asked to come down and talk about my bill to some CEOs, I had lobbyists. And keep in mind when I say this, I'm not trying to hammer anybody. But when you had American lobbyists chase me down the hall telling me that this bill's not good, I said, listen, ho. China is not our friends here. They're not our friends. They're not
100%.
Oh, well, the business. I said, listen, get the business thing out of your head.
Yes.
They're not here to make a business. They're here to infiltrate and to get inside this country. And so they're going to try to work themselves through the legislation and through legislators, whatever it may be. And if they have to pay you off and buy you out, whatever it may be, they're going to do whatever means is necessary to get into this nation. Now we can see what? We can see our water treatments being hacked, all kinds of security scams and things happening.
And freeze on that for 1 second, Bill. Why would they be wanting to specifically, you mentioned water treatments. That's what the 60 Minutes report brought out. And the general that was featured in that report, General Hogg, was talking about the only reason that they would be doing that. In fact, he said it was unprecedented. That kind of activity to be taking place was in the event of a conflict or war. They would have the ability to put our nation in a deeper state of chaos and that's the only reason that they'd be doing that. So you're right. We have to start waking up as a people in this nation and realize China is not after our best interests. They're just not.
And I will say this too, Bob, to poison our waters, to make us sick. Okay, where was it proven that the COVID come from? All right, when we was being attacked on the conservative side about the mask and about the vaccinations and all these things that they was pressing us to have, what was it doing to us? It was hurting us, but there was so much chaos, people really didn't know what to believe. And so, but now as everything is coming out in the wash, we see that the mask was useless. It was harmful to our body, our kids' body. I mean, we was taught in elementary school, don't breathe in carbon monoxide. Well, you're breathing it in continuously when you wear this thing all day long. And I just don't understand why people are still driving around by themselves wearing a mask, but that's up to them. But now you see China buying what? They're buying food companies. They're buying milk companies. They're buying water distributors. They're buying into dog food companies. I mean, the list goes on. So they're getting inside our food and our water, everything like that. That's going to start harming us. When you got dogs out of it's not normal for them to have tumors and cancer. I mean, who ever heard of these things coming out? But you see who the company owners are. I mean, why do we have to fight to have?
Well, I can tell you, sadly, we know from firsthand experience about 15 years ago, we had a beloved dog that we were feeding at the time food that was manufactured in China. And guess what happened? She died at the age of 5 from liver failure. The veterinarian said, he was asking about the brand of food. And he said, that's that Chinese dog food. It's been recalled, So they've been doing this stuff for a long time. I'm not saying that even in that situation 15 years ago, that was intentional, but simultaneously, I'm not saying it wasn't, they aren't after our best interest. In fact, folks, if you have a question or comment that you'd like to make, you can text us right now at 502-571-0970, 502-571-0970. We did get a text line that just came in, or I should say a comment came in off our text line, Bill, and this was back when you were talking about Sharia law. What is the bill being put forward? And again, it hasn't been filed yet. You just kind of did a floater out there that will stop Sharia law in Kentucky. Where is the info on this subject?
Yeah, you can Google about the Sharia law, where it's at in the nation, what it's doing. The word Islam means to be made to be subject, and they're wanting control of us. If not, you're an infidel. You're worthy of death. And so I'm going to fight for the good people of Kentucky and for this great nation. As a legislator, soon to be senator, I'm going to fight for what's right. And that's what the people elected me to come forth. I will say this real quick, if I may. The people in Eastern Kentucky did not elect me to make partnership with a foreign entity that we consider a communist or a threat to our nation.
Well, and I can say amen to that, Bill. Coming up next, Representative Wesley's had a confrontation at the state capitol that made national headlines. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the next segment. We'll also discuss his stand on protecting women's privacy in restrooms and women's rights in general. You want to stay tuned? We'll be right back with our final segment of Kentucky's Voice.
Kentucky's Voice is your home for real news, real people, and real answers. But we can't do it without you. Your financial support helps us bring truth to the forefront, hold leaders accountable, and give a voice to the people of the Commonwealth. Join the fight today. Give online at kyvoice.org or text KYVoice to 53555. Every gift makes a difference. Stand with us. Speak up. Stay strong. You are Kentucky's voice.
back to Kentucky's Voice Radio online at kyvoice.org.
There was a little bit of a seismic shift in politics. All of you noticed it over the weekend. We saw our clearest sign yet that this radical insurgent movement in the Democrat Party is succeeding. And they are ending what has always been known as the Democrat Party in America. After a months-long pressure campaign from the far left, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries finally relented. He gave in, and he gave his endorsement to the socialist running to be mayor of New York City. The House Democrats have chosen a side. They were forced to by that far left that they're so terrified of, and they've shown the world what they really believe. There is no longer a place for centrists and moderates in their party. The candidate that they have endorsed, Mamdani, is somebody who we've talked about a lot from this podium. He sympathized with Hamas and openly embraced anti-Semitic language. He has called to, quote, seize the means of production because he is a Marxist. He's called to abolish our borders, to abolish and end immigration enforcement, to defund the police, and to legalize prostitution, among a long list of hits that I could share with you. Zoran Mamdani is expected to take the helm of one of the most important cities in the world and the largest city in America. And he now has the full blessing of the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. It is shocking. And that leader and all the other Democrats are going to co-own the consequences of what they do to America's largest city. Every reporter in this room should be asking every House Democrat individually whether they too agree with Hakeem's endorsement of the Marxist agenda. It's an extraordinary moment in the history of American politics, as this is not the kind of history that we need to be making. What we're witnessing is truly the end of the Democratic Party as we've known it. And even some Democrats are now saying that out loud.
And that, of course, was Speaker of the House Mike Johnson talking about the swing of the Democratic Party to the far left, communism, Marxism, totalitarianism, whatever ism you want to call it. It's all bad. Did we ever think in our lifetimes that we would see the day that a Marxist, and I'll say it again, a Marxist would be running New York City? I say this quite often, but I challenge anybody to show me anywhere in the history of mankind where Marxism, communism, totalitarianism has ever worked out for the good. Well, you can't show it to me because it hasn't. It has always brought forth suffering, pain, death in every situation, to the tune of millions of people that have been sacrificed at the altars of communism, Marxism. And these are things that we really need to be aware of, especially and praying about as Christians, what's going on right now in New York City. I mean, it's coming down to crunch time, and I don't know, folks. I am joined and I am blessed today to have somebody that is fighting the good fight, Kentucky State Representative Bill Wesley. Let me ask a question, Bill. What's going on with the Democratic Party? I mean, it's not the party of JFK Jr. that my dad was a member of. I mean, he was a proud card-carrying Democrat for his entire life. But it's not the same party. I mean, they've absolutely shifted so far left. And I'll say it, this lockdown, shutdown, where America is literally being held hostage right now, is solely 100% on the shoulders of the Democrats. It's been real easy for them to kick the can down the road like they have done every single time with regard to the continuing resolution, as far as funding and paying the workers in our nation, paying our military, paying our federal workers. It's something that they wholeheartedly agreed to, every other time. But this time around, because the Marxist Communist Party leadership was putting pressure on what I would call the more moderate Democrats to go in this direction. And it's just sickening and sad to see. What are your thoughts about it?
Yes. If I can add real quick, as an elected official, we have people, Brother Bob, that is running our local counties, our cities, our states, they're voted in congressional, whatever it may be. We all sign a paper. We'll take that oath that we will uphold our party's platform. And then we'll swear to it. We will sign our name to it. And then we got people that is so naive that they say, well, they say they're not for that stuff. No, you just lied. Or they just lied when they took that oath that they will uphold that party's platform. So I said that to say this. When you go sign up to run for an office and Michael Adams has a paper that he will have you sign and fill out, you will get sworn in that you will uphold that party's platform. So what is the platform? It's the beliefs, it's the values, the morals that they stand for. And then you're going to turn around and try to give a big, pretty nice speech to people. Well, I believe this or I don't believe that. No. Well, they just lied from the beginning. And so if people don't wake up at the election polls, what is at stake? They're just going to let the enemy walk right in without taking a fight and taking a stance. And so I would say this, that my whole family was raised up as Democrats. With that was for the working man back in the day. And they stood for certain things. But that party's gone. And to convince people now, it's like you're talking to a wall. And it's like some people are going to hold on to a myth of something that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So the party's platform is, I am for killing the innocent children. Now, I don't care what they name it. They'll say, well, it's a fetus. Well, what's a fetus? It's a Latin word that, if you translate it into English, it means baby. So it's the easy way that they say, hey, we're going to kill babies. And you try to tell people that, well, and they got a mixture of this. No, you're killing the most innocent. And brother, I'm telling you, our hands that has blood all over it as a nation, the blood that is crying out to God, just like in the book of Genesis with Cain and Abel, that blood was crying out to God. The second, the things that they're going to try to come against is the guns, the weapons. They've already made stances against that. People says, well, we need a change. We need to get that madman out of there. I love our president. I'm so thankful for Donald Trump. We need a man that has backbone, that's going to make a stance, that's not going to play with the enemy. I mean, he'll just say it the way it is. And so I am totally against this party that is become a chameleon. They'll become whatever party or clique that they get around. They'll just smooth right on in.
And that's what a lot of people are saying, and it's true, that Mandami is right now saying, things that honestly really go against Islamic teachings, such as homosexuality, and he's supporting that and giving that a pat on the head, and free government handouts, and basically saying that stuff's okay. When he, and they have a term, I can't think of it right now, that in Islam, that it's okay to lie if you're trying to get a victory or gain an upper hand.
Yeah. So they're taught to lie to us, to deceive us. Hey, it's okay. Hey, I'm like you guys. No, they're going to do, and they're going to say whatever they can say to win us over, or to keep confusion, keep people blinded to the truth, and they're going to infiltrate and come on in. And if people doesn't wake up and take it serious, we're going to wake up one day and we're going to be at war within this great nation. And we haven't seen no war. People's complaining about ICE being out on the streets, deporting illegals. It saddens me that some of the—
And they're fighting that.
Yes.
The Democrats are making ICE out to be the bad guys, when in fact all they're trying to do is enforce federal law.
Amen.
Pure and simple. It is scary, Bill. I do want to get to, because we only have about 3 minutes to go in the show today, but and I'm sure many of the folks that are watching or listening right now heard about your confrontation that you had at the state capitol. I guess that was back in, was it May that happened? No. It was
right at the end of session.
Yeah. Okay. And
so around April.
It made national news, and it reignited the debate about privacy and safety in public facilities. And just real quick, and for those of you that didn't see it, it's Bill, quite frankly, dressed, I think it was about a 6'7", 6'8" man that was coming out of was in the women's restroom at the Kentucky State Capitol.
That the governor invited.
And the governor had invited him and his counterparts. And you had people coming out, women coming to you and saying, hey, this isn't good. What can you do about this? And so you, being the chivalrous man you are, and the godly man that you are, you went and confronted him. And
you're leaving today.
Yeah.
You're leaving right now. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
Very serious when these men are trying to portray to be a woman. No, that's mental issues. You got a mental unstable mind when you are a grown man portraying to be a woman. And so we had little girls, Brother Bob, that was lined up wanting to use the bathroom, but their parents or the kids didn't even want to go in there. They know that there's an issue. This man was in a white sequins see-through dress. What an embarrassment. And this man wants to come out and say he's a trans man. I said, no, you're a man in a dress. And I better never catch you in this women's bathroom up here again. So long story short, we got a bill that we're going to be filing again this year. We had one, House Bill 30, to keep boys out of girls' bathrooms and locker rooms in schools. Now we got to do this at our government offices. But this is also to protect the women's rights if they're at work dealing with some guy with pink fingernail polish on wanting to come in there act like a woman. She's not going to lose her job. So I just ask for your prayers that we can get that pushed through.
Representative Bill Wesley, thank you for joining us today and for sharing your vision for Kentucky's future. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Kentucky's Voice. I'm Bob Scott, and every morning we bring you the conversations that matter most to the Commonwealth. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and as always, stay proud to call Kentucky your home.